These, but
We're good.
she's just saying that whatever the recorders are.
My aunt has one in
They didn't marry me because I was starved.
And you know what? You're married to me still.
She leaves me because I got a scar on my arm.
Just turn mine off because I never know when mine's done. It has a mind of its own.
That's what I do too. Put it on airplane.
Yeah, she is.
I didn't even bring anything to write on.
You're so good. Well, I knew that. That's why I put this my folder together.
Little extras?
Yeah, I got a little extra copy for you. Everything else.
Good thing someone's looking over me.
Of course. That would be nice for people to The only thing that we have to do is, we have to punch our own holes for this. When we're done, I know.
Jesus, I get they go. Jeez, wait a step.
Yeah, this is the one we're going to talk about, Tom. Even up here. We're going to talk about that and what he wants to be. I don't know if he's just...
That's where I do with the board.
My notes here.
Oh, yeah. That's why you show up on time.
I was saying,
There she walked in.
I said, it's okay. I said,
But what goes through her mind is somebody tell me, obvious that something's going on.
yeah, but then it's good to have that out there, and I think people need to claim that.
Call this meeting, this negotiation session between the Dickinson School Board and the DEA to order, please. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. I'm a trust that all of the negotiating team members have a copy of the agenda. The first order of business is to review and approve the June 5th, 2015 meeting minutes. Does everybody have a copy of those minutes? Okay, the floor is open.
I think with the addition of the beginning of that statement, which is the only thing that we talked about, that Mr. Wool said at the beginning of last meeting, it has been added there. I sent it to Twyla today, so it's added there, so I have no problems with it. So,
Is the title okay at the bottom, so we could sign the minutes?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
That's fine.
yeah. I don't have anything. Nope. No, I'm fine with that.
Any other comments from any of the team members? Okay, I have here 2 copies of the original minutes. I'll hand one to you, Mr. Fay, one to you, Mrs. Fair. If you could please sign those and then exchange them.
That's our copy. Okay, all right.
Okay, that takes us to item number 4, review and adopt the attitudes.
Before we do that, Mr. Chairman, can I ask?
Mrs. Fair.
Yes, we had a question last time. How do we want the minutes done? Do you want it a verbatim of what everybody said, which would be 20 pages long? Or is a summary and then we review it? Okay. Mrs. Peterson asked me, she has them done both ways for this meeting. And so I wanted to, we should just, so that she knows what to do.
I think with both sides utilizing the recorders already, we have them verbatim. So if there is an issue, like we did with this one here, I think we can go back and make those corrections. Unless, of course, as we said last time, we wanted this in the verbatim in the minutes. Other than that, I think. You guys have a problem?
No, that sounds fine.
So just so that I can clarify, so everybody's on the same page, a summary by Mrs. Peterson is fine unless one of the parties requests something to be placed in verbatim, and that will be discussed and agreed to by the parties, because both parties have a verbatim copy with the tape recorders.
That's fine. It also takes her a lot less time to do a summary, so, all right, thank you, thanks for that.
Okay, item number 4, review and adopt attitudes.
Are we going to skip item number 3, or are we going to come back to that one?
Let's go back to item number 3.
Did you just get out of an airplane?
Just got out of a helicopter.
Okay.
Item number 3, ground rules, finalize and sign.
We just have a couple, and I know we've already discussed a couple of them. One that we would like to, we do recognize that Assistant Superintendent Reap's position as a resource team for both teams, and that he will be seated at the end of the table or near the table. I guess, in our discussions earlier today, we discussed, would it be possible for Assistant Superintendent Reap to sit at Twyla's table with her, and then we need him. We can push him, and then it's because a lot of it's because both sides depend upon his expertise, and it takes away some of our good faith. We always look into him, and I know that he's in the past always been very willing to do that. But I think that we're moving on. We already figured the numbers. Mr. Reap and I sat down and we figured the numbers, so it shouldn't be a matter of looking, is that the correct number, is that the correct number, because we've already figured them. We already have them.
So you would want them over there instead of down
Yeah. It's a lot easier for both sides to look down and go, and what do you think, Mr. Reap? This way we can take him out of it a little bit more, unless it's a numbers issue.
It's not that important to me whether he sits at the table or over there. I mean, it seems like easier to have him there than he can hand it out or do whatever. I guess he's.
I have no problem if we get somewhere where we got a bunch of numbers and we can call them up and have them just sit there instead of talking behind you.
Absolutely.
Over there.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I agree with that. That's acceptable.
Yeah. Probably with all the material Mr. Reap has, we might just give him his own. He needs some more room, and that's why the end of the table is great, but we're going to need to give him an additional table or something.
Okay.
I think probably the question that the parties might want to consider is which one's most convenient and going to be most timely and save the most time for you.
And then the big one that he's going to come in for is when we start talking money, and we understand that. Second one is number 3. The addition of the statement, non-team members will not approach the team or negotiation table without permission from both parties. In my notes or in any of our other notes and on the tape, there was no discussion whatsoever about that.
It was in the written stuff from last time, but I think we just skipped talking about it. And the reason I wanted to add it in there is when I was at the School Boards Association negotiations session, and one of the negotiating teams was talking about how people felt free to come up and just tell people things. Like they would come up and say, you teachers are asking for too much money, what's wrong with you? And then someone else would say, school board member, but they would actually come up and talk to you. And they said, you know what, they felt now that if you could just eliminate that in the forefront, not like I think people are going to come up and say that, but they said, can you just, they thought they should have put that in ground rules. That's the only thing why, And I thought, well, maybe we should just talk about it then.
I don't think we've ever had an issue with it in the time that I've been here, with anybody coming and doing that in the middle of a meeting. And if we do a strong chair, that's
the only reference that I came up from was, or saying, hey, don't forget that you guys were supposed to say this, or like, the teams can handle that. So I just wanted to bring it up.
But I know we didn't discuss that last time, and,
Right.
and we would like to have that struck from the ground rules. Other than that, we're good there.
That's been in past ground rules though, right? It wasn't in last year's?
I don't
We
remember.
didn't have them last year. We went
Year
with
before.
with the attitudes.
Yeah, we did make some changes this year.
Yeah.
They're longer.
Yeah.
You want to take that out?
It doesn't.
Well, and really, it's really covered by the first sentence in there. Just saying.
Right.
You're not allowing a non-team member to speak or participate. So can be covered there.
Okay. This next one you have highlighted, which is the meeting facilitator, and I want to thank Dr. Sullivan for taking on that position today for us, and we appreciate it. And like when we were talking, it makes it easier for both sides to be able to concentrate on what we actually have to do, so we can get her done. So we would suggest that, in lieu of what we're doing, not that we want to make him a permanent one, but allow him to be in the rotation, not just for the school board, but for us as well. So we would like to strike the last 4 words from that one for the school board.
Yep, I was actually going to bring that up as well, because if it's helpful, why not just not make it too restrictive? That's fine.
And the last one is just the very last one. We think it's we're setting a target date, but then we're saying a time frame will be set. So we're kind of being a little bit wishy-washy. We're saying a time frame is going to be set, but yet we have a target date.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So what would you like to say? The target, just leave a time frame will be set, and just leave that last sentence, or what do you suggest?
I would say I like the fact that we have the target date, because for the sake of payroll, for the sake of, it pushes us to wanting to get things done. So maybe just keep the target date only.
So just keep that last sentence.
And understand that if things are progressing, obviously that we have gone past the target dates in the past, as long as things are progressing in the way we want them to progress. That was our discussions.
The other thing was, if you're going to sign the ground rules, Mr. Fay, what title do you want to put on here? We put, well, Carl and I discussed saying like lead negotiator pro tem, or do you want to put, I don't know if you have a title in your negotiating team?
No, we're just we can just put negotiator on there. That's fine.
Okay.
We're okay with that.
Assistant lead.
Because
Assistant? Okay.
just because you and I just had the telephone conversations makes me no more important than anybody else on the side over here.
Yeah. All right. So we'll have Twyla make the corrections, and she'll make a copy, so we'll sign them. If it's acceptable.
Okay.
So just so it's clear for everybody in the room, item number 3, the parties agreed to strike the second sentence. And item number 7, the parties agreed to strike the last 4 words of the second sentence. And item number 12, the parties agreed to strike the first sentence.
Yes.
Agreed.
Mrs. Peterson, how long will it take to get these printed?
3 seconds.
We'll take a brief recess of about 3 minutes. If you guys want to get yourself some food. And we'll wait for the ground rules to be returned.
Oh,
Thanks.
service.
Where I'm supposed to sit.
That's what I was wondering.
Because I don't even make a decision.
It was on the
Dark, and then the other one.
the draft copy, Vince.
Let
me see if I can-
I don't care what it is.
That's different. These two are different.
Yeah, the draft copy.
Ralph says he'll sit at,
But once we sign it, I'll need to know.
Which is that?
where did it go?
Is there a different one?
No, it's in the minutes.
It's in the minutes.
It's in
It
the
Oh,
was in the
it's in the
minutes. Yeah,
Oh,
In the minutes it says
at or nearby.
at or nearby the table.
Unless you guys get all crazy.
okay, well,
Yeah.
pretty much the
Yeah,
same.
Yes.
it's fine.
No, sorry about that. Sorry, Pat.
It's all right. You're gonna need it tonight.
Yeah, we're moving, I guess. I think for today, Vince, you're probably good to go. You can stay. Because Brenda's got all my stuff. Yeah.
There's no room. Side shoe makes a lot of noise. Yeah. Clicking away. So much for that. Where are you going?
Oh, we should just start a family reunion. Now, and it's I'll be back.
Pretty special. Haven't been out.
These are the changes. I'm sorry, I was busy printing and Dr. Sullivan was talking. And these are the originals. There's two.
Saturday. Yeah. I got you. Just. Jack was pretty cool.
That's okay.
It was too. Oh, yeah.
Took it out.
It was pretty good. It was all
Took it out.
yeah.
Took it out. Good.
Yeah, it was supposed to be outdoors at the holiday inn. Second day and 61 days. So
I suppose I can date it quickly. 16th, isn't it?
It would have been hot on this side. Indoor. I'd be like, the bar is right there. When you go outside, the bar is there. It was fun. I had lots of family, lots of friends. A long way to go. They love Missoula because you gotta pick your venue.
Are we gonna scan our one
No, we didn't. We went out there on Tuesday. Yeah, on Friday.
We'll call the meeting back to order, please. Okay, that will take us to item number 5, agenda items for future discussion. What? I've marked off 4. I'm just in the skipping mode, aren't I? Item number 4, review and adopt attitudes.
Would you like to go back around and read them like we have in the past, Chris?
No, I think Jason would like to read them all himself. I would be fine with letting him do that. I think they're fine.
They haven't changed from the last time we were here.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, he's still here, he's not needed to.
Yeah.
Thank you. Imagine I had those somewhere. Okay.
I think I would just like to commend and to encourage that we continue to keep meetings positive, productive, and focused. And we're all here for the exact same reason, and it's the success of our students.
So the attitudes are agreeable to both parties. Okay. Now we'll go to item number 6. Item number 5, agenda items for future discussion. The floor is open.
Are we going to write these on a list or on the board or initially, or what are we going to, how do you want to do that?
We could write them on that whiteboard, couldn't we then? Can you do that?
I got roped into it last time.
Yeah. He's got very nice handwriting.
Okay, the floor is open.
If I recall from our collaborative bargaining training, everybody just says the topics, right, and then we rank them later, so there's...
There was no, we ranked them, and we actually brought the sheet to rank them.
Yep.
Although I can't recall exactly how to do it, but
Well, we've reviewed that.
Good.
We know how to do it,
Good.
so that's good. Well, the first thing that I would like to say from the school board's perspective is there's some contract language cleanup that we would like to handle. It's cleanup, dates and grammar, and then there's one cell on the salary schedule, and I think that can be all one topic that we would like to adjust, and when we get to that part where we explain it, I can tell you what all those are, if you want.
ours is to adjust the lower half of the salary schedule as discussed in December to even out with the upper half.
My number 2 is salary, which I assume we all share.
Down there. I just figured that was a given. Summer school, anybody who does summer school, their salary placed on their salary schedule.
Okay, summer school on the salary schedule.
We'd also want to put discussion of a 2-year contract on there.
We have a couple dealing with personal leave. Do you want to leave it as personal leave, or do you want me to be more definitive?
You said there's 2 topics.
We have a couple of them that deal with personal leave.
What would you like to?
Mr. Fay, my suggestion would be to put some subcategories under there so
Okay.
it's clear for the parties and for the press and for the audience.
Okay. Accumulation to 8. So increase in accumulation to 8.
8 personal days, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the second subcategory would be a graduated personal leave.
We don't have anything further. That's it.
Flexibility of professional development days. and outside the contract day compensation. And that one may,
I'm sorry, I just have to ask for clarification. Okay, yeah. I thought he was covering that one, okay. I guess, I forgot that I had another one, I didn't have it in bold on my list. Grievance procedure. This should be part of it. And that's separate from the contract language cleanup, separate item. That is all,
that's all we have.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Reap, would you just read those one time for the
Sure.
interest of everybody?
Contract language cleanup. Second one was adjust lower half of salary schedule. Salary is number 3, or the third one. Summer school on salary schedule. 2-year contract. Personal leave, subcategory A, cumulative to 8 days. And B, graduated personal leave. Next one, flexibility of professional development days, outside the contract day compensation, and grievance procedure. Or policy, I think it was said procedure.
Procedure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reap. So according to the ground rules that were adopted by the parties earlier today, topics may be presented until the problem statements have been, topics and proposals for consideration will be presented and prioritized at the first meeting following the establishment of ground rules. The team will then write problem statements for the agreed upon topics. No new agenda items will be presented after problem statements are written and prioritized unless by mutual agreement. So there is still an opportunity for both parties to present additional topics until that time. Okay. So I'm not hearing any additional topics at this time, so that would take us to item number 6, ranking order of agenda items.
Is this, do we, before we rank them, do we talk about why they're up there or what we mean, or do we just rank those topics? Like, I know that happens, I don't remember the order. Anybody remember the order? I've got my...
I think last year we actually talked about what they were, because that would give us a little bit more of a indication of you know, when you sit down and rank them, you know, contract language cleanup, well, what does that mean? So I mean, you may say something that will go, yeah, you're right, I need to rank that higher.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we'll just, that's what the parties would like to do. We'll just start at the top. The first proposal was by the school board, so President Fair, Mr. Hanson, or Mrs. Fair,
Yeah.
Mr. Hanson.
Is this what this is for?
Yes.
These are these, okay. So I wanted to give you guys copies. This is the current negotiated agreement, but we highlighted it on there. Excuse me, they get in yellow. It is, you want to read this? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that. Okay. If you just go to that page 2, say for example, negotiated was incorrect, so we would correct the spelling of that, and then the dates for the contract. And that's the thing on page 3. And then on page 4, that is that cell on the salary schedule, and if it's all right with you, could I just have Mr. Reap explain that? Or do you already know about it?
I think that we discussed it at the end of last negotiation period, that it wasn't an error, and that it was actually an error in favor of us, but that we understood that it was going to be dealt with to make it even.
So we don't need any explanation on that one?
Do you guys remember that?
Okay. Page 5 is changing the word steps to lanes. I think that's correct. I thought there was one more thing. Page 7 is again the dates. Page 9 is the dates. Page 10 is a grammar. Taking out are and replacing it with is. Page 11. I think that's just making that a little more clear. It's number 5, application processing. That is all. I thought that if this was something that we all agreed on, we could maybe just do an agreement and not put it in our rotation. If that's all right.
I think they're all changes that are grammatical or dates.
Need to be done.
So I mean, there's no policy or changes in here.
Right. We just wanted to do that separate from anything else and not muddy up the waters anymore. If that's- So,
I can just
Mr.
provide
Chairman?
one clarification. If you would look at page 4, please. There would need to be one additional date change at the bottom.
Oh, sure. Yep.
That's the only thing I wanted to say.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, is this something that we could just have a tentative agreement on and get it signed, and then we could even take it off the list, if that's what all the parties want?
If the parties are in agreement that these modifications are purely grammatical and just technical and don't change the substance, we can agree to it. And if the parties want to initial one of the copies, we can get a formal one presented at the next meeting, or if you want to sign one of the copies, however the parties would like to do that.
I'd be okay with making a sentence on the front and just signing. And then we could make that first page, if you want to put the language on the front,
That will be just fine.
you can do that then, and then we'll, if that's all right with you guys, unless you want something typed up.
Right?
Just write something on there that we agree.
Tentative agreement on grammatical and
Yep.
and date changes. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good.
So
I just want to get it out of the way. Yay.
that's good, because the sheets we have only have 8 spots.
Yeah, there you go. Yay. Okay.
Do you want me to talk about the second one? Or are you guys
Go ahead.
okay with
You can go ahead while he's doing that, and then we'll just maybe.
at the end of last negotiating time that we were together, we adjusted and increased the lower 6 years of the salary schedule, with the indication that, you know, we were negotiating for everybody, not just those people. And it was verbal at that time that we would come back and take a look at the rest of that salary schedule to make those adjustments so that it affected everybody on that salary schedule.
So the question, I mean, the topic is to address the lower half of the, or adjust the lower half of the salary schedule is, and what you just said was more broad.
Do you remember when last year we added the, what, .02
Yeah.
to the first 6 years of the salary schedule? With the, when we talked about that aspect, we negotiate for everybody, not just those first year teachers. Yeah, we want to obviously attract and retain them. But we also want to make sure that we are rewarding our veteran teachers for staying here as well. So we want to adjust so that we make that equivalent across the board.
So adjusting the lower half of the salary schedule would be different than salary.
Yep.
Okay.
We'll just make it equal all the way across that salary schedule. So what we added to the first half should be added to the second half.
Meaning you're wanting to raise which part of the salary schedule or lower one? What do you?
We want to raise
the veteran teachers you want to raise.
We want to raise the. We want to
Okay.
increase the veteran teachers. Sorry.
Okay.
We don't want it. We don't want our new teachers to go backwards.
Well, no, I didn't think so, but I wanted to just clarify what we're all talking and what we meant. Okay. Yeah, I wrote it down for you, right there for you.
Now, before we go any further, let's see if we can get this document signed here. Okay, continuing on with the discussion. Salary.
Pretty self-explanatory, I think.
Enough said. Yeah.
Well, the board's interest is retaining our teachers and paying them fairly, especially in comparison to the rest of the school districts in the state. So we're competitive. It's a shared, I'm sure, shared interest.
Summer school on salary schedule. Over the past couple of years, our summer school, to my knowledge, as I've been told by the teachers, have been frozen, so they have not received a pay increase. So they would like to see their summer school paid at the salary schedule level.
Could I ask how are teachers being paid right now for summer school?
Mr. Reed, Mr. Reed, can you address that question, please?
Yeah, it's I believe $28 per hour, and periodically it gets increased. I think historically about every third year it's increased by $2 per hour. But this was the second year, I believe at 28. But can't be certain of that. So.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Reed, it would be easy for you to email that history to the parties with the,
I think we would have that record in payroll since it's, yeah.
for the past, say, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I can do that.
Thank you. Any other discussion on summer school on salary schedule? Okay, school board 2-year contract.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory too. I think it just make it easier for everybody so we don't have to do this every year. Yeah.
Well, we already know the amount of state funding we're getting. And we also know that the board cannot impose a second year of a 2-year contract. So it looks to me like it's safe.
And like I said, last time when we were here, we didn't want to put it out, but we didn't want to add that to ground rules either. So we're not saying that that's out of the question.
And we are, of course, committed to meeting with the DEA in between, as we have said in previous years, if there's issues that need to be discussed in that 2-year time frame.
I need to provide a little clarification. It is true that the parties do know what the per student allocation is, but in terms of knowing the actual state funding in year 2, that will be dependent upon student enrollment that occurs the coming school year for year 2. So don't know exactly, but would probably be able to come up with a pretty close number in year 2.
Okay.
Personal leave, subcategory 1 is the accumulation date days. Currently, right now, we can carry over 4 with the 2 that we have, which would accumulate to 6. We'd like to see that 8. We don't think that's a cost to the district at all, whether we use them to this year or next year. So we'd like to see accumulation to 8. Subcategory 2, again, it goes back to rewarding our veteran teachers, and it's a system where other schools in our area have it, where they increase the amount of personal days per year based upon the tenure of the staff member in the district. So if somebody were in the district 10 years or less, they would maintain the 2 years or 2 days per year of leave. If they're in their district, in our district, not number of years teaching, but in our district, 11, 15 years, they get 3 days per year. And if they do 16 years or more, they get 4 days per year. So it kind of rewards them for being in our district longer. And maintaining them and retaining them, as hard as teachers are to be hired these days, helps.
So can you just read me your numbers again, as the example?
If they're in our district 10 years or less, then they would receive what they're receiving right now, 2 days per year. If they're in our district 11 to 15 years, they would be increased to 3 days. And if they're in here 16 more years, it would be 4 days per year.
Okay. So I was off on my number. It didn't make sense.
Then the accumulation would be up to 8, right?
Or 6 or 8, it depends on what we negotiate. Yeah, I mean, if you stayed at 6, it would just encourage some of our teachers to take some days that they sometimes so desperately need.
I understand that.
I guess it's us again.
Any other questions on personal leave? Okay, flexibility of professional development days.
We have a lot of teachers who are attending content-specific types of professional development that in some districts are utilizing their ability. Say if they go to an AP or to a CTE convention, they can use those as professional development days. So if they take, say, 2 days during the summer and go to an AP conference or a CTE conference, then they could apply the 2 days to professional development of the school year. And it would allow them to be more content specific and utilizing that information in their classrooms. And of course, with the new ruling, the use of PLCs as professional development.
I mean, what do you mean by that?
You can use one. I believe it's 1 day of PLC towards professional development. The accumulated
You mean
hours.
within the district, a PLC day?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're using one. You can do one now.
Yeah, that's. I think it's 1 now with the new legislation.
And you're suggesting all or some?
No,
or?
no. Utilizing, if we can utilize PLCs as part of our professional development.
I see. Okay. That was my question. Is there anything besides, say, a conference or PLC days that could possibly count towards a professional development day? I mean, I'm just asking if there's other situations or that come up.
Well, if I had a teacher maybe going to a coaches convention,
Which would be a conference.
Would be a conference,
convention?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I just wondered if there was something else that routinely comes up that
You know, AP seminars, you know, if anybody goes to an AP institute in the summer,
Sure, yeah.
you know.
Okay. Okay.
I'll let you guys take the next one, since you guys know more about it.
Outside the contract, Dick.
Yeah.
I think we have down outside the contract day compensation, so if there is work outside of the contract day past 3:45, teachers should be compensated in some way, which can be discussed.
Just to clarify that, are you saying if they're required to work outside of the contract at the time, right? Not if someone just chooses, or, I mean, it's a
Exactly.
requirement, it's required, okay. I'll be sure we're clear. Okay.
Grievance procedure is the last one. Grievance procedure.
Just looking at, if you look at the grievance procedure, what we noticed with this last issue that came up is that we have some timelines that aren't consistent, or there aren't any timelines. And we would like to address all those issues in a timely manner. So we would like to address the grievance procedure. I mean, that's our rationale for bringing that up.
Okay.
Any questions or comments further on any of those topics that have been presented?
Just the grievance steps, are you concerned about a timeline altogether, or what
Let me look at that.
timeline is written down?
Well, I feel, I don't know, but I think that, I felt like we needed to just address the whole procedure, just because some of the timelines aren't consistent, or there aren't any, and if we could make them more consistent, and they might just need to look at the whole, look through the whole policy to get those. Rather than just looking at days and times, we might have to step through it and see if they all make sense.
Would you see it shorter or longer?
I don't know, it
Okay.
it'd probably end up being shorter, or what, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
And there may be a number of issues to discuss once we get to the grievance procedure. But that was what made me think about it, is looking at the timelines.
Anything else? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. That would take us to item number 6. Ranking the agenda items in order. Who would like to take this topic and explain it?
I'm looking for
Oh,
my...
I've got the sheets.
You have the sheet, oh, so that means I could explain it, I suppose, huh?
Well, you got sheets over here too.
We got
So.
sheets, we have lots of sheets.
Lots of sheets.
That's
You
good.
can do rock, paper, scissors, whatever you want.
Well, I'm looking at, when we did this last time, and you put the topics down and across, but they're ranked against each other. Or last time, I think we all just went, we want to discuss this one first and second, and so that didn't really work out. So I believe that's how, so you would go in column B, is B more important than A? Or what you have A, so that's, so I know that I have mine out of order, what's up there.
Right.
Well, I do think there's a, maybe Mr. Schobinger can help me with this one if I need his assistance. There's a bit of a statistical weight here that is varying in favor of one side of the table, with 4 people ranking items as opposed to 2.
Yes. Well, you could add 2, if we could add the superintendent and the assistant superintendent in, that'd be 4 and 4. If you want to make so everybody has, so there's 4, so it's equal. I don't know how else you do it.
We just do 2 cheese.
Oh, we just do 2? Let's count ours twice? That's perfect.
So,
Or we just take 2 of ours, or you 2 do 2 and we do 2, you know.
yeah, we can do. We'll just share.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just share.
Fine.
So he and I will do one, and so.
So we need to put these on the same order though, don't
Right, we need to label those A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
According to that.
Right,
So-
okay, so Mr. Reed, will you
So
label
just
those?
for the information, of the audience and for the press, what the parties are going to do, the items are being labeled A through H, I believe, and they will be written in order down the side of their rubric. Mr. Tuchscher and Mr. Fay will combine for one number. Ms. Schubert and Mr. Gray will combine for one number, and Mrs. Fair will have one number, and Mr. Hanson will have one number. And we will let the parties do their work.
We'll take a few minutes.
So the audience can please feel free to visit with each other, but keep it to a dull roar.
So we're keeping personal leave, both of those things together, it looks like?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? You're gonna write or I'm gonna write?
No, you're gonna write.
All right.
Just so the parties are doing the same thing, personal leave is considered one issue.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Gray, personal leave is one issue.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we have.
okay.
Then you write A's going across in the exact same order. That's what we didn't do last time. So we couldn't remember how to
See
do it.
if you look. There's your last one. Is it really that late? I think it's just when we discuss them. I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Okay, so you have to compare them. Yeah, like if B is more important than A in that column, it's B or if A, yeah.
So
Is
then
that
you,
right?
yeah, then you count the number of. So when you're all said and done, how many A's are there? How many B's are there?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have some more of these.
All right.
Well, I would think so.
Alright, what do you think? This one versus this one?
B.
Huh?
Okay. There you go, like, B trumps everything, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I
So
just-
really you could go B straight across, right? Because we're saying that's the most important no matter what.
Alright, so A
No, you did it
versus
wrong.
C.
You did it wrong. It would be all the way across here, wouldn't it be? B against that one, right? I probably should be doing this in pen. Right?
Okay, I'm right.
Alright. Okay, so just lower half for summer school. Lower half?
Mhm.
Yep.
Let's go all the way across.
Yep, okay.
No, yeah, I think.
Yeah, yeah, because those are number 2 pretty much.
I think.
Yep.
I think that one right there probably trumps it.
Okay. So
G, and then A again.
and A. Okay.
Summer school, 2-year contract. Obviously.
I believe so. Yeah, that's right. It would be across then.
And then personal leave, I think.
Personal leave is more important.
I think so.
Yep. So that's the whole.
Professional flexibility. Yeah, I think so. G again.
D. Where'd you get D from?
Or C.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, that's fine.
Why am I writing C?
What did we decide for personal leave? Didn't we say personal leave was going to be more important?
Yeah.
Though? Okay. But then the rest would be C. How about flexibility of PD days?
I think that one's probably, I think that one's probably,
I did do that. I was on the wrong one.
okay, 2-year contract versus personal leave. Personal leave.
Oh, yeah, PD days.
2-year contract.
Okay.
That's a tough one, isn't it?
Yep.
I think F.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It sounds to me like we basically are going to
D.
Oh. Gotcha.
Okay, and then you're just doing, you go down the left
Personal
side,
leave.
right?
Personal
Versus
leave.
flexibility, I think personal leave.
So E.
Yeah, I think E.
E.
Personal leave versus outside the contract day. I'd say personal leave.
Okay.
I would say that. Because it affects everybody.
Well, I must have missed something. I do know that.
And then personal leave with
Okay.
cross, right?
Right here, supposed to add up to 20.
Flexibility PD outside the contract date. I think G.
Okay.
Agree with procedure.
So,
I agree with procedure.
Oh, you gotta count all of them? Oh,
So,
gee.
there you count all the A's, all
I'm
the
just going across
B's.
going, no, I
Nope.
have 0. Okay, so.
Outside the contract date, agree with procedure.
Okay, got it now. Thank you, Jason. So I count all, you go back and count like B's?
G.
Okay, so I would.
Okay, so what now here?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 A's.
And then this is C.
Oh, on the whole thing,
There we go,
count
right
1,
now.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. C, we have 1, 2. E's, we have.
Oh, don't forget D.
D, yeah, we have D. 1.
1.
E's, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. F, we have 1, 2, 3. G, we have
I think we just call them out.
1, 2,
Are we handing them in tonight, or are we just gonna call out?
H's, 0
So
H's.
calling people to read them.
So you got yours. You got yours. So we're good there. Are we on break here? So I can... Okay, we'll start now.
Sorry, I think I can add up to
'I'll never forget that year.
Well, there, next time I can. I seriously, I said.
It would have killed me.
I tried to say that. I couldn't stop.
They're not very good at. They're not very good at adding. It's like, there's 28 box. I heard you guys say 28. So I count them. It's like we're only at 26.
I was at 27 for the longest
All
time.
right, I think I found it.
I couldn't read my E's enough. Sorry.
How many years?
28.
28. The number should equal 28.
Yeah.
No, are you sure?
Are you adding that last column?
Are you adding this
5,
one?
6, 7. That's 7 more. 21. You can't add that last column
7
because that's just
plus 6 is 13. Plus 5 is 18. 22, 25, 27, 28. Count all the boxes. It should count all the boxes. It equals 28. You gotta put a number there too. For H, if you put an H, oh no,
We rank these against each one against each other.
By the way, we didn't add right. There's 4 G's. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
Actually, there's 5.
What
kind of a picture we have over there?
Huh?
What kind of pizzas do we have?
You just give a total for each one.
That's what we didn't do last time.
Meat.
Neat. I like that one.
What?
That one over there.
We need
This one right here?
that has the vegetables, the other two.
Oh, yeah.
That's one you want?
That's one I want.
Okay.
Does that mean it's no? The most important is the yeah.
12, 14, 16, 21.
I want that closest guy
You're next. So I just need one number.
We agreed that we do this so.
Are we all doing this the same way?
Yeah.
You count all the whole
Yep.
thing.
Okay.
So like I have 7. You guys have 7 for one night.
Yep.
That'd be right? I know it's really confusing.
Yeah.
I'll turn mine off.
Oh, I turned my head. Well, let me start that one.
He's making sure that we're all doing it right.
He's the marshal.
Because he told us we were doing it wrong. No, we're not.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen this.
As long as we're all doing it the same. As long as we're all doing it the same.
Did you get 28 right? Hey, we got 29.
I don't remember anything.
Oh, no, we all right.
Okay.
Are you good?
one extra.
We
got one
Pretty good.
voting number?
What's that?
It's pretty good pizza.
Pizza's good?
This is good.
I'm real, yeah. I was gonna wait till you're done.
I just got 2 hungry sitting here.
Yeah.
I ate really early today.
That works.
What's the letter called?
All right.
Okay, we're good.
We're good.
We're good? No, we're not. Wait.
I'll take that. It's not.
Let's come back to order, please.
That's why I'm a
Okay.
music teacher.
Now that we're all thoroughly confused up here, I think we have this figured out, so what we will do is start with Mr. Hanson on...
Why don't we just go or,
Okay.
Item A, Mr. Hanson.
0.
Mr. Gray.
6.
Mr. Tuchser.
5.
Ms. Fair.
0.
Total is 11. Item B, Mr. Gray.
7.
Ms. Fair.
7.
Mr. Hanson.
7.
Mr. Gray, or Mr. Fay.
7.
Totals 28. Item C, Mr. Fay.
2.
Ms. Fair.
1.
Mr. Hanson.
1.
Mr. Gray.
3.
Ms. Schubert, I'm sorry.
3.
Total is 7. Item D, Ms. Schubert.
1.
Ms. Fair.
6.
Mr. Fay.
1.
Mr. Hanson.
6.
14. Item E, Mr. Hanson.
Just a second. 4.
Mr. Tuchser.
5.
Ms. Fair.
2.
Mr. Gray.
3.
14. Item F, Ms. Schubert.
3.
Mr. Fay.
3.
Ms. Fair.
3.
Mr. Hanson.
3.
Total is 12. Item G, Mr. Hanson.
2.
Mr. Tuchser.
5.
Ms. Fair.
4.
Ms. Schubert.
5.
What is that total? 16. Item H, Ms. Fair.
5.
Mr. Hanson.
5.
Mr. Gray.
0.
Mr. Mr. Fay.
0.
Total would be
10.
10. Now, in terms of priority, high is good. So, number 1 item is salary schedule. What's the second one?
Outside the contract day,
Outside contract day is number 2.
3 to 4 on 2-year contract and personal leave,
2-year contract and personal leave.
and then 5 would be flexibility of PD,
Flexibility of PD.
6.
Bottom of it. Just lower salary schedule.
And 7, grievance procedure.
Grievance procedure.
And 8, summer school.
8 is summer school.
Just for the sake of those people out there and the press as well, just because it got ranked doesn't mean it's not going to get discussed.
No. It just shows you the interest level, I suppose. And I imagine we can use that to decide what we're discussing first or second or however.
It can be used to prioritize the discussion of topics.
Yep. In the past, we've always looked at things that have also been, quick, easy fixes.
Get them out of the way.
True.
Because it's nice to have tentative agreements and feel like we're moving forward.
Okay, if there's no further discussion on that, that takes us to item number 7, other. Would there be any other from either of the parties?
First, at this time, I think the next obvious step is the problem statements. And do we want to take those away and come back with our problem statements written for next time? Or
Well, usually you write them
together?
If you can understand what the issue is. I was looking in the book here, and if you can figure out what your shared interest is, so we could talk about what everyone's shared interest is on this, because we've got a lot that are the same.
Right.
And then write a problem statement from there. Usually you do them together.
We still do have 20 minutes of our time frame available. Would we, understanding that we're not going to get through all the problem statements, and that would still concur that if there is another agenda item that we want to bring up, we could still bring that next meeting.
Sure.
But we could begin the process of moving forward and starting.
Yeah. You want to try to tackle a couple? If we could try to tackle a few of the problem statements, try to at least begin maybe, or at least begin to find out what our shared interest is in those. Or,
Do you want to take them in order?
well,
Before we proceed, we should probably have pad of paper or something to write on.
oh yes. Or can you flip it?
You have a key for the media center, then?
I got it. I got it. Paper.
Well, everybody.
This is-
Oh, got it. Got it.
Oh, yeah, she's got it.
Yeah.
Sure, that's good, yeah. Put it up, maybe up there so we can.
Through the file, through the-
All right.
please.
Yeah. Yeah, we ate.
It's okay. I'm gonna have another one of these.
So are those sticky notes on there? Are those
We gotta
sticky
be there in
notes?
20 minutes.
Yeah, we got some more time. You ready?
There. Gotta say jalapeno on that one, so.
I would not like that one. You can have that. It's just.
No, you're not listening.
I was thinking if we could use that sticky note, just write like 1, 2, 3, whatever, and then we could just stick it somewhere. That'd be okay. Then we could see. Oh, look at him. Yes, you see that. Just you go. We're still gonna need that info.
Ooh.
So now we don't know which one's coming.
How does that work?
It'll print copies of each screen if you want.
Wow. Nice.
Do we have these in our schools?
We have a volunteer recorder.
All right.
Yeah, you won't be able to read anything.
Let me read mine here.
Be bad.
Okay.
Okay, we are prepared to continue moving forward.
Okay.
So we will start with the problem statements, and I don't have a list of the topics. Can I borrow that, please?
Well, I was wondering if
And
Mr.
they're-
Chairman, if we could just write them, Mr. Chairman, if we could just write them on there, like ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, how we rank them? And then we could stick that somewhere?
I don't have that either.
I got it right here.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all have it.
Salary is number 1.
Yeah. So.
Okay, we'll start. We will begin with salary.
maintain, and the problem is to retain, make sure that we retain and recruit best possible teachers that we can for our students.
So having the ability to attract and retain high-quality teachers.
Yep. High quality or highly qualified?
High
Or both.
quality, well,
Yeah.
kind of, yeah.
Do we want to, at this time, do we want to look at the number that we've come up with and agreed upon? I mean,
I don't know.
What
Well,
number? I'm not sure what you mean.
the number of, like, salary number?
when we sat down, we said that we wanted to have the exact same dollar figure on our side as your side. So Vince and I
Oh.
sat down twice and figured out and what the dollar amount is that we were going to work with of new money.
State and local funding.
Yep. New state and local funding. Because it would give us an idea of what we're working with.
Well, does it take us too farther
might.
than what we want to go? I
It
don't,
might.
at this point?
Because we're going to discuss it anyway, so yeah, we can, we're
Well,
fine.
that's
We
true,
can wait.
yeah.
We can wait
Mhm.
until discussion. Okay.
Item 2 is outside the
You should.
contract.
Continue on down this one, or
Sure,
new
if
one?
that's, or do you want to have them all in different ones? It doesn't matter to me. Are we writing any more on that one? Probably not, since there's not much time left. What do you think?
I think that's our problem set right there.
Yeah, just mark like salary, just like make it 1, or so we know which one, where we go, where we're going. Yep, that looks good, thanks.
For outside the contract record compensation, that was number 2, right? Yep.
Yes.
I think the problem is to the recognition of the valuable time of our teachers outside the school day, and to reward them or pay them for those times mandated that they are in session. I mean, I don't know how to put that. I'm not the English major here.
Yeah. It seems like maybe we're talking about compensation still.
Right.
So maybe fair compensation. I don't know. I'm going to say, I want to say fair compensation, and I want to also say something like clarifying the criteria and or whatever. I'm looking at thinking those words and criteria and. But that's, I'm not, yeah. Someone else can step in here while I'm just throwing words out of my mouth.
Defining criteria.
Okay, so the problem would be to define the criteria and come up with a fair compensation for that criteria. Because I like your word fair.
Yeah, but we need to be sure that we understand we're not talking about the salary schedule.
Right.
I mean, where this is, it's something separate.
Right. The problem is how do we pay somebody who is mandated to work outside contract?
Okay, so fair compensation for
Duties
beyond, for duties beyond,
Stated or whatever.
yeah.
Beyond the school day?
beyond the contract,
Yeah,
so
contract
beyond
days.
the contract day?
Okay. Jason, how'd you say that? Fair compensation for
Fair
duties?
compensation beyond, I don't know, regular contract day or something, I don't
For
know.
duties. Required.
Mandated or required?
Required, I suppose.
Beyond
Okay.
should we say normal contract?
Yeah, well, yeah, if you want to. Yep. In the contract hours, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's specific enough. Does anybody like that? I think I like it.
What's
Do they step in it?
Item number 3 and 4 were 2-year contract and personal leave.
Oh, he's got under the rain. Okay, so
Simplify.
they're tied. Those are tied.
to avoid having to do
No, they're
this
just
again.
They can probably
What's the other one? What's it, the other one?
Personal leave.
Oh, personal leave. So okay, well,
We can do this one first, that's fine.
okay. So yeah, for the 2-year contract.
Simplify the negotiation process.
Well, I also think it helps the school district and teachers plan for the, plan for the next year, so we know. It maybe brings some security. But simplifying it's not just simply simplifying the
Right.
negotiation process.
No.
in order to.
What are our shared interests in that? That's what, and how do we, what's the problem statement going to be?
Continuity of some sort.
Provide continuity.
People can plan what the paychecks are further up.
Well, then
that
you
way,
can
too.
plan, then you exactly know. Yeah, you do know what your paycheck's going to be. That's a good point.
You know what you do when you don't know how to spell a word, don't you?
Continuity?
C-O-N-T dot.
U-I-T-Y?
Yeah.
Close enough. Don't put that in the paper.
No picture taken.
But I mean, but it does, it provides, I understand the concept and the reason behind it. And
Continuity, I think, for
budgets, for personal and school
Yeah.
budgets.
Yep.
so for both parties, really, yeah. It just helps everybody plan.
Personal leave. Probably gonna be the last
So we
one
got
we're
two
gonna get
parts on
to.
this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So,
maybe you can tell us what all of our shared interest is in that, and that will help us develop a problem statement for that.
If you go with this, the second one is to recognize the value of our veteran teachers and rewarding them with,
You can also put it on there to maintain our veteran teachers too.
yeah,
Retain.
Retain.
retain,
You said maintain that.
retain.
Maintain them.
Retain, and it's a reward for their time that they've given us.
Thanks for pointing that out, Chris.
You're welcome.
I mean, so,
Yeah. Is it, I'm just asking this question, is it enough of an incentive for the less experienced teachers? Is that an incentive, or is it not an incentive to acquire more personally? Because you're saying like they have to be here for 10 years. Is it an incentive for retaining? Not just the veterans, but the lower one, is it?
It's a piece of the pie, I mean.
it's already, we're already at 2. Everybody's at 2 right now. So it's kind of a way of saying thank you and saying, you know, we value the service that you've given to our district. Because we're not saying, you know, if you come in with 30 years of experience and you're year number 1 in our district, you're still going to
I
get
see what
2.
you're saying, so low, but isn't it incentive for someone to, is it part of it that, to give some, a teacher
To
to
keep them there.
stay?
Sure.
To keep
Because they
them
see
there.
that
Yeah.
coming up and they know next year they're gonna get, what is it, 2 more days or whatever it
One
is.
more day or whatever happens to be is negotiated. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's going to retain and recruit, or reward, excuse me, our veteran teachers. It's not really a problem statement, but it's more of a solution statement.
Well, right now, we don't have veteran teachers leaving. But, you know, I understand what you're saying, so, I mean,
How many?
I don't know.
When
Well,
we
we're
come,
like
when we come to
divided.
discussion, yeah, when we come to that discussion,
This is
we're-
the problem statement.
Yeah. Well, maybe it is just for all teachers, and then morale, increase in morale and that, I mean, it doesn't have to be just veteran teachers, right? Just
To reward all
retain and
teachers.
reward
retain and
teachers.
reward teachers. Yeah, because
And
even the accumulation
increase
of up to 8 is big, because you have a lot of people who are looking at, okay, I got this opportunity to go to Hawaii, but I can't because I've got to take day deduct. Well, if they can plan.
When we
you
get
know,
into that, okay.
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with school climate and morale and things that goes in there, or no?
I think that would have something to do with it, yeah.
So maybe also, or do we want to add in there just increasing the morale and the school climate?
I would agree with that.
Okay.
We have time for one more.
What is the next one? Is it short or is it a one? and a half?
Actually, my suggestion is that I agree with Mr. Fay that we
Yep.
stop there.
You have to
We have
the
a
briefing.
Summarize.
few more items to go through.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Okay, just to debrief for the audience and for the parties, the minutes from June 5th, as they were modified, adding in the statement requested by the DEA, were approved by the parties. There was a discussion of the format, and the discussion, the decision was that a synopsis of the discussion would be fine for the minutes, since both parties are recording the discussion verbatim. Parties reviewed and adopted the attitudes. Agenda items for future discussion were identified. Those items were ranked. And under other, the parties did start developing the statements for each one of the items. And there was a tentative agreement between the parties on the language cleanup, with a reminder that there needs to be a modification on the bottom of page 4 from 2014-15 to 2015-16, where it states career ranking. Did I miss anything other than we skipped around? Okay, so is it possible to schedule another meeting date and time?
Mr. Fay, you had suggested some days in your email to me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, with Coaches Convention, I guess I didn't realize was Coaches Convention. What does the first week of July August look for you guys? We're going to make ourselves available. I mean, yeah, I mean we would have 4 here, because Yvette wouldn't be here, but we would have 4.
Well, next week, not at all.
Well, Brian's gone next week, and Yvette's gone next week. For those of you guys who don't know, Brian is getting married tomorrow, so that's where he's at. He's at a rehearsal dinner tonight.
Oh, yeah, that would be possible. Can you guys go with just 3 or no? You do not want to do that. Is the 31st is coaches convention?
28th through the 31st.
Oh, through the 31st?
Yeah.
Okay. And Monday, Tuesday next week is what the next thing that I have open. That doesn't work for you guys? Excuse me. No, yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would have next week. We don't have anything next week that's available. I hate to go too long because
Tuesday?
if we have that tentative.
Are you able to?
I could work it out.
Okay.
You
Can we do Tuesday of next week? If you guys can do Tuesday of next week, Mrs. Schubert said that she could work it out.
We have the groundbreaking for the middle school that day, and we'd have to check with Mrs. Ricks because Mr. Hampton can't attend on Tuesday. How about for Mrs. Peterson?
That's at 3, groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Groundbreaking would be done.
Time?
What time are you thinking?
Well, the earlier the better, then not
Oh,
a
man.
well,
4:30?
Oh, I thought you meant early, like 7 a.m. or
morning would be
something.
good. No,
Morning?
no, morning won't work. I know how that works.
That just got picked up on
Early.
4:30. When
Maybe, yeah, either one is fine.
That
Okay.
would be fine.
Tuesday?
Tuesday, the 21st at 4 or 4:30? What is your
It's going to be your schedule because you guys have the middle school groundbreaking.
I think 4 will be pushing it.
Okay, it could, so 4:30?
4:30 would be safe.
And
Okay.
looks like Mrs. Ricks can attend? Yes? Okay. I didn't even realize she was here. So, good. We're set for 4:30.
Today?
That's Tuesday of next week,
Today,
Okay.
21st. And I would assume that finishing the problem statements and beginning the process of discussion, is that what you're thinking, Mrs. Fair?
I would think at least finishing the problem statements, and then I guess we decide which ones we want to discuss, which ones do we want to address first? Do you want to do the
Okay.
hard ones first, or do you want to do salary first and then everything else? What makes sense? So I would assume, yeah. The other thing I just wanted to ask is, I had asked Mr. Reed to just be available if you wanted to walk through, have him just walk through that whole spreadsheet we're going to use, and if you want to contribute to like a discussion for everybody, so that we all understand the figures we're using.
If you're looking at the Excel one where
Yes.
you just plug in the number up here and everything fills, we've looked at it as a team here.
And that's
Yeah.
all, so we're all understanding that we.
Yeah. The only thing that I would like to add to that Excel sheet is that, if we can put another formula near the two numbers of last year's and this year's, so that we can see the difference rather than having to, and it's real easy.
Yes. Dr. Sullivan, since Mr. Reed had to go, would you talk to him about that?
It's just a matter of an auto sum, G39 minus B39.
Well, that'd be fine, then you could take a look at that, sure.
And then you don't have to do the math in their heads.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. Seems like it's someplace to go. Okay. Is there anything else?
Okay, just so that we're all on the same page, we have a meeting scheduled for 4:30 on Tuesday of next week in this room.
There we go.
And once we get through the minutes, we do not need to do ground rules. Do the party's going to review the attitudes, or are we good with that the way it is? Because they weren't read tonight. So that will not be on the agenda, so we will go from minutes to problem statements and then discussion of the topics and then to other and debrief. Okay, having said that, I don't think there's anything else. Meeting's adjourned.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're a surprisingly good meeting chair.
Surprise.
I've never seen you chair a meeting before. You're usually sitting over somewhere else, someone else. I've never